Right. In previous class, we discussed up to the formation of different types of nucleotides. Here that nucleotides, take that list now. Here there is formation of 8 different nucleotides and 8 different nucleotides. Thymine can form only deoxyribonucleotide and deoxyribonucleotide. It cannot form ribonucleoside and ribonucleotide because thymine is present only in DNA, it is absent in RNA. That is the reason. Alright, coming to uracil, uracil forms only ribonucleoside and ribonucleotide as it is found only in RNA. As it is not found in DNA, it cannot form deoxyribonucleosides and deoxyribonucleotides. Okay, coming to that nucleosides and nucleotide we can differentiate or we can classify them into purine nucleotides. Purine nucleotides means ATP, deoxy-ATP, GTP, deoxy-GTP. Pyrimidine nucleotides means CTP, deoxy-CTP, deoxy-TTP and UTP. They are pyrimidine nucleotides. Similarly, we can differentiate them into ribonucleotides, deoxyribonucleotides like that. Ribonucleotides include ATP, GTP, CTP, UTP. Deoxyribonucleotides include deoxy-ATP, deoxy-GTP, deoxy-CTP and deoxy-TTP. Okay, like that we can differentiate same nucleotides also. Okay, you know that formation of 8 different nucleotides, what is the tabular column we gave in previous. Now see how that polynucleotide chain is formed, which is very important. Why I am repeating this basics of 11th standard again is here that structure of DNA is very important for molecular basis of inheritance and biotechnology also. See how polynucleotide chain is formed. Normally nucleotides will join by a bond called phosphate diester bond or phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond or phosphate diester bond is formed between nucleotides. When that phosphate diester bonds are formed, there is attachment of nucleotides to each other. Okay, rough structure I am drawing here. Suppose this is a nucleotide. Here I am not writing the entire structure of adenine, just I mentioned adenine. The phosphate group I wrote like this. Phosphate group I mentioned like this. This one is a phosphate group. Phosphate group also I didn't write here. Just to understand the formation of phosphodiester bond. Here this is a nucleotide, right? What is the type of this nucleotide? Whether it is ribonucleotide or deoxyribonucleotide? Tell me. Yeah, it is RNA nucleotide. It is a ribonucleotide which is present in RNA nucleotide. Yes, ribonucleotide. Whether it is purine nucleotide or pyrimidine nucleotide? Is it purine or pyrimidine nucleotide? It is a purine nucleotide because adenine is present. Now I am taking one more nucleotide here. This one cytosine I wrote now. This is cytosine. Cytosine is a pyrimidine nucleotide. This one, what is this? Actually, this is structure of AMP, adenosine monophosphate. This is structure of CMP. That is the structure of AMP, adenosine monophosphate. This is the structure of cytidine monophosphate. Two nucleotides are there. Now the two nucleotides will join. how there is a formation of bond between nucleotides here is, here the OH group which is present on third carbon, it will form a bond with phosphate group which is present on fifth carbon. This fifth carbon has phosphate group. OH group on third carbon in previous nucleotide forms a bond with phosphate group present on fifth carbon of next nucleotide. See here, dehydration takes place here. With the help of dehydration, both nucleotides will get joined. Okay, here, see here, normally ester bond. What is ester bond? Tell me what is ester bond? That's why I told you this molecular base of inheritance is first related to some chemistry concept. What is ester bond? No one is answering. Yes. ROR. O in middle of R group. Yes, yes. CH3, OCH3. O in middle of R. That is ester. Here, this is R. This is R. Actually, here it should be C. COOR should be. As phosphate group is here, O. This is ester bond, but phosphate group is involving in ester bond. So it is called as a phosphate diester bond. Here one ester, here one ester. Two ester bonds are formed between two nucleotides, and this is called what? A dinucleotide. Here write this bond now. This is what? Phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond. By forming phosphodiester bond, there is addition of or joining of nucleotides. Actually, in DNA structure or RNA structure, we know 5 prime, 3 prime ends, right? What are that 5 prime, 3 prime ends? Normally, if phosphodiester bonds are formed, nucleotides are joined, right? Many nucleotides join by number of phosphodiester bonds. Many nucleotides will join by number of phosphodiester bonds, and there is formation of a polynucleotide chain. This polynucleotide chain we are calling either DNA or RNA. What is polynucleotide chain? DNA or RNA means, here between two nucleotides there is formation of a phosphodiester bond. If many phosphodiester bonds are joined like this, I mean many phosphodiester bonds are formed by joining number of nucleotides together, there is formation of a polynucleotide chain of 100 or thousands of nucleotides. So that polynucleotide chain we are calling DNA or RNA. When we can call that polynucleotide chain as DNA means, if the nucleotides what are present here in a polynucleotide chain, if they are deoxyribonucleotides. Deoxyribonucleotides means deoxy-AMP, deoxy-GMP, deoxy-CMP, deoxy-TMP. If that deoxyribonucleotides are present in that polynucleotide chain, then it is DNA. Okay? And if ribonucleotides are present in a polynucleotide chain like this, then it is called as RNA. Okay, and the phosphate group, what is present in first carbon, is considered as 5 prime end. Yes, 5 prime end. And this one, OH group, first carbon in a polynucleotide chain is considered as a 3 prime end. 3 prime end is OH group present on the last nucleotide. 5 prime end is phosphate group which is present on the first nucleotide. So these are considered as 5 prime, 3 prime ends. Wait one second, please. Yes, some dust is there on camera lens. Okay, right. This is what prime, what 5 prime and 3 prime ends of polynucleotide chain. Like this, there is formation of DNA. Okay, did you copy this? Okay, complete this fast. Okay, can I erase the board now? Right. Now, see that backbone structure of a nucleotide chain, polynucleotide chain backbone structure. Suppose, first we go to types of polynucleotide chain. DNA is double stranded, or we can say a polynucleotide that has 5 prime to 3 prime ends. A polynucleotide chain with 5 prime 3 prime ends is considered as a strand. Strand means polynucleotide chain. Here RNA is usually single stranded. DNA is usually double stranded. RNA is usually single stranded molecule and DNA is usually a double stranded molecule. Okay, right. See now the backbone structure. Suppose if I take a DNA molecule, how that backbone structure will be there in a double stranded DNA. Okay, then we can go to that Watson-Crick double helical model that I will explain that many questions are possible on Watson-Crick double helical DNA structure, which is problematic question that we discussed in 11th class already. I will repeat now also. See here, suppose consider this as a backbone structure of sugar. This sugar has normally what are the groups that are important in sugar? Remember, what are the groups in sugar? C1 is important. C3 is important, C5 is important. Can anyone tell me why the C1 is important? Explain strand once again, sir. Hey, a polynucleotide chain is there, na? A polynucleotide chain that has a 5 prime 3 prime end. A polynucleotide chain which is formed of many nucleotides is called as a strand. Okay. What is the importance of C1? Anyone tell me? C5, C3, just because C5 has 5 prime phosphate group, C3 has OH group, that everyone can know. C1, why C1 is important? No one is answering. I think you are thinking. Think well. Yeah, I will tell you. I cannot wait long time. See, bound to aldehyde group, not aldehyde group. This C1 is very important, binding nitrogen base. A nitrogen base is attached to sugar. Yes, bound to nitrogen base by forming N-glycosidic linkage. N-glycosidic linkage is formed between sugar and nitrogen base at first carbon of sugar. C3 has OH group, which is 3' end. This one has phosphate group, which is called 5' end. So suppose this is a backbone of a sugar. This backbone, first carbon has a nitrogen base. We can write a nitrogen base adenine here. Adenine I am writing. Otherwise, I need some more space that side also. See, this is a sugar backbone that has nitrogen base here. Normally, 1, 2, 3 like that, with 5 up to 5 we can number this backbone. In this backbone, third carbon is important because it has OH group, and to the fifth carbon there is attachment of a phosphate group. A nucleotide we can represent like this. A nucleotide can be represented like this. Now, if we take one more nucleotide like the same, guanine, this is this one. This is one nucleotide, this is another nucleotide. Between these nucleotides, there is formation of a phosphodiester bond like this. See now, like this, phosphodiester bonds are formed, and there is attachment of many nucleotides like this. Here OH group will be there. Like this, we can represent a backbone structure of a polynucleotide chain. Nucleotides are joined like this. This is 5' phosphate group. This is 3' OH group. This is a nucleotide chain or polynucleotide chain. DNA is a double-stranded molecule. What is that DNA double-stranded nature is? This is one strand. Another strand will come and join here. To bind with another strand, there is base pairing takes place, complementary base pairing according to Chargaff's rule that I will explain, right? Here, adenine pairs with thymine here. Same. First, I will write a nucleotide chain, nucleotide backbone. This is first nucleotide. First 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. 1, 2, 3. Third carbon has OH group. Fifth carbon has phosphate group. Okay. Similarly, one more nucleotide will be there. Like that, there is addition of or joining of many nucleotides together to form a polynucleotide chain. So this is one nucleotide chain, this is one nucleotide chain. This nucleotide chain is one strand, this is one strand. Usually during the binding of this nucleotide chains, there is attachment of DNA. I told you, in DNA, adenine pairs with thymine, guanine pairs with cytosine, cytosine pairs with guanine, uracil pairs with, actually DNA, DNA means there should be thymine. Thymine pairs with adenine like this. So normally there is formation of hydrogen bonds between this. Adenine, thymine, a double bond is formed, guanine, cytosine, a triple bond is formed, 3 hydrogen bonds. Okay, like this there is formation of double strand. This is one strand, this is another strand. This is one polynucleotide, this is another polynucleotide. 2 polynucleotides are joined. One strand is in 5' to 3' direction, another strand is in 3' to 5' direction. This is explained in Watson and Crick's double helical structure of DNA. There we will see that. Okay, like this, polynucleotide chains are arranged. This polynucleotide chain is only forming DNA or RNA. How that base pairing is taking place? Base pairing. Write that, remove that polynucleotide. How complementary base pairing is taking place? Base pairing is taking place. Complementary base pairing is taking place between complementary nucleotides according to Chargaff's law. Erwin Chargaff proposed pairing of complementary bases. Erwin Chargaff proposed a law. What is that law proposed by this Erwin Chargaff is number of purines is always equal to number of pyrimidines. Whatever the number of purines and pyrimidines, that is always equal in double-stranded molecules. In double-stranded molecules, double-stranded RNA or double-stranded DNA has always equal number of this purines and pyrimidines. See that complementary pairing, usually a purine pairs with a pyrimidine. A purine pairs with a pyrimidine. That purine will always bind with a pyrimidine in a double-stranded molecule. Usually, adenine pairs with thymine by forming a double bond. Guanine pairs with a cytosine by forming a triple bond. Adenine pairs with thymine by forming a double bond. Guanine pairs with cytosine by forming triple bond. Okay. That base pairing, formation of bonds is not important, but anyway, I will show you the base pairing once so that you can understand. Where is that? One second. I will show the base pairing, formation of bonds. No need to write. See this one. This is the pairing. See here. I will annotate. This is what? Hey, who is marking? Thymine. This is thymine. This is adenine. See here, between adenine and thymine there is formation of two hydrogen bonds. Here there is formation of hydrogen bond. Amino group of adenine and a keto group of thymine are involving in a hydrogen bond. And two nitrogens of adenine and thymine are involving in formation of another hydrogen bond. Right? Similarly, cytosine and guanine. Here this amino group of cytosine and one keto group of guanine are involving in formation of one hydrogen bond, and amino group of guanine and one keto group of cytosine are involving in formation of second hydrogen bond, and two nitrogens present in guanine and cytosine are involving in formation of another hydrogen bond. So these hydrogen bonds are formed between the groups present in adenine, cytosine. Adenine with thymine, guanine with cytosine. Okay, that's all. This is how hydrogen bonds are formed. This one is not needed. If you need, you can take screenshot and copy in notes. If you need, you can take a screenshot in your phone and leave some space in notes, then you can copy. Okay, done. I am closing this screen share. Right. Like that, there is formation of hydrogen bonds, adenine thymine pair, guanine cytosine pair. Okay. See that adenine guanine cytosine thymine pairs is formed when in double-stranded molecules only. So for the double-stranded molecules only, this complementary base pairing Erwin Chargaff rule is applicable. According to this, purine pyrimidine ratio is always, purines are always 50% in your double-stranded DNA, pyrimidines are always 50%. Here, what are purines? A plus G, that is always equal to C plus C. That means purine pyrimidine ratio. Wow. Right, first 50% to 50% means purine pyrimidine ratio is always equal to 1:1. Now you can write that. A plus G is always equal to C plus T. That is Chargaff's law. Chargaff's law explains that number of purines is always equal to number of pyrimidines. A plus G should be always equal to C plus T. That is very important. Or you can write one more. A plus G by C plus T. A plus G by C plus T is always 1. A plus G by C plus T. Sorry, A plus T by G plus T is always equal to 1. And one more expression we can write. Here in the double stranded DNA, A plus G is always equal to this one. No? A is always equal to T and G is always equal to C. A should be equal to T, G should be equal to C. But A plus T may not equal to G plus C. It may be equal or may not equal. Why not adenine and cytosine? Why adenine and cytosine? Because adenine, cytosine, purines are adenine, guanine. So adenine and guanine only. What is this law? Purines are always equal to pyrimidine. What are purines? Adenine, guanine. Cytosine will not come in combination with adenine because cytosine is not a purine. Adenine will not go there because adenine is not a pyrimidine. Okay, A plus T may be equal to or may not equal to this G plus T. This is various expressions related to the Erwin-Chargaff law. Chargaff law explained that this one. And that presence of hydrogen bonds was observed by a scientist called Pauling. Write that name. Presence of hydrogen bonds was determined by a scientist called L.C. Pauling. L.C. Pauling is a scientist who observed the presence of hydrogen bonds in this double stranded DNA molecule. Right? Can I erase? Then we go for the structure of double helical structure proposed, double helical structure of DNA proposed by Watson and Crick. Who is there? Someone is posting videos in groups. Danakodi. Remove that video. Yes, very good. Why are you opening in middle of the class? Why are you opening WhatsApp in middle of the class? May I know the reason? When class is going on, why are you browsing WhatsApp? Okay, right. Now, see that double helical structure of DNA. DNA double helix. That DNA double helix structure we already discussed. We already studied in 11th standard. Just with the help of a diagram, I will explain that briefly. Briefly means in detail I will explain, but I will go some fast because you already know this. This is very important. This is important, sir. So you are going faster, sir, like that you may ask. This is important means you might study very well in 11th standard as it is important. That is my point. Is this visible? If you need, you can write that backbone structure in one segment so that you can understand. This is how sugar, phosphate and nitrogen base, pentose sugar, phosphoric acid and nitrogen base, how they are oriented all over the DNA strand is like that. Right? If you complete the diagram, tell me, I will explain. Yeah, completed, sir. Okay, as you have notes for this double helical structure of DNA in 11th standard, you can refer that notes. I will explain the diagram and I will give you idea how to solve the questions or problems related to structure of DNA. Okay. Now see the structure, double helical structure of DNA. This double helical structure of DNA is proposed by what? It was proposed by, who proposed that? Watson and Crick. James D. Watson and Sir Francis Crick proposed this. According to them, two strands, two polynucleotide chains, they are oriented parallel to each other. Parallel, but here one strand is in 5' to 3' direction, another strand is in 3' to 5', 5' to 3', 3' to 5'. So they are running in opposite direction. As one strand is in 5' to 3', but another one is 5' to 3' in reverse. So that is called what? Anti-parallel nature. Two strands of polynucleotide chains in DNA double helix, they are running in opposite directions each other. So that property is called as anti-parallel nature of DNA, and they are running anti-parallel. Here the distance between two strands everywhere in DNA is always 20 angstrom. The distance between two strands everywhere in DNA, wherever you can take, that should be 20 angstrom. You may write like this. That is not correct. Double helical structure. Here distance is more, here distance is less. Like that you cannot write. Don't write this DNA diagram as you are writing, you are drawing Rangoli in front of your home. Remember, this is not Rangoli. Okay? So write the DNA structure very clearly. Right? Then two strands are 20 angstroms apart from each other. One strand of this DNA is called template. Template or antisense. Template strand is also called as antisense strand. Another one is called as what? Non-template or coding strand. Coding strand, which is called sense strand. DNA double helix have two strands. Double helices have two strands. One strand is called as a template strand, which is called as antisense strand. Another strand is called as coding strand, which is called as sense strand. Two strands of DNA are running anti-parallel each other, which are 20 angstroms apart from each other everywhere in the DNA. And the main nucleotide chain forms a backbone. That backbone is made up of sugar phosphate backbone. The major backbone structure of this strand is made up of sugar phosphate backbone. Here, these sugar molecules are present, pentose sugar are present on axis. Sugar molecules are present on axis of the DNA strand. Phosphate molecules orient outwards or outside. See here, this is the structure. Phosphates are present outside, and this nitrogen bases are present interior. Okay, sugar phosphate forms backbone. Sugar molecules are present on axis. Phosphate groups are present exterior, and nitrogen bases are present interior to the DNA strands. And when there is a twisting of this DNA, how that helical structure is formed? Here, both the strands are complementary strands, I told you. As they are complementary strands, due to complementarity, there is formation of hydrogen bonds. When hydrogen bonds are formed, the DNA strands will coil one around another. There will be coiling one around another. That coiling forms this double helical structure. This DNA double helix is like a twisted ladder. If the ladder is taken and if it is twisted, then it appears like this. It is like a twisted ladder. In that twisted ladder, this is what DNA line. Here there is presence of some minor grooves and major groove. Groove means a furrow-like structure where gap is there. This is the DNA molecule structure. Here a gap is there. This gap is called what? Minor groove. And there is presence of a major groove. Two A minor groove and major groove. A minor groove and a major groove totally called a turn or repeat. Turn or repeat means one minor groove, one major groove combinedly called as a turn or repeat, or we can say the length or distance of DNA between two minor grooves. This is one minor groove, here one minor groove will come. So distance between this minor groove and this minor groove, totally it is called as one turn or repeat. Okay? And distance between two major grooves also we can consider that one repeat. So the length of DNA between two minor grooves or two major grooves is called as a turn or repeat. This turn or repeat always has a 10 base pairs. This is a particular common type of DNA. There is a common type of DNA called as a bDNA. I will tell you the types of DNA. Okay, that main DNA, basic type of DNA has 10 base pairs. Distance between two base pairs in polynucleotide chain is 0.34 nanometers or 3.4 Armstrongs. Distance between two nucleotides in a polynucleotide chain is 0.34 nanometers or 3.4 Armstrongs. So between two nucleotides, one base pair has that distance means 10 base pairs has 0.34 into 10, 3.4 nanometers or 34 Armstrongs is the length of one repeat. Okay, this is the structure of DNA. Now see the types of DNA. The important DNA is called as bDNA. bDNA has 10 base pairs per repeat. One repeat has 10 base pairs. That is bDNA. bDNA has 10 base pairs. Okay, this is right-handed helical structure. That is bDNA. Right-handed helical. Second one is aDNA. Otherwise, I will erase this and I will give names of that BA also. Types of DNA. One is bDNA. bDNA stands for basic DNA. This basic DNA has 10 base pairs per repeat and it is right-handed helical. Right-handed helix means that is alpha helix. It is right-handed alpha helix. Then second one is aDNA. aDNA stands for alternate DNA. This alternate DNA has 11 base pairs per repeat. One repeat has 11 base pairs. And it is also right-handed helical structure. It is also right-handed helical structure. Third one is ABC. cDNA. Otherwise, now first go for zDNA. zDNA stands for zigzag DNA. This zigzag DNA has 12 base pairs per repeat. Here, one repeat. This is one repeat now from here to here, one repeat. In one repeat in bDNA, 10 base pairs are present, whereas in aDNA there are 11 base pairs. In zDNA there are 12 base pairs are present. This is left-handed helical structure. Left-handed helical structure. Then fourth one, cDNA. cDNA stands for complementary DNA. Complementary DNA, it has 9 base pairs per turn or repeat. This is cDNA is right-handed helix. And fifth one is there, which is ddNA. This ddNA stands for duplex DNA. This duplex DNA has 8 base pairs per repeat. 8 base pairs. This is left-handed helix. These are 5 different types of DNA. There are 5 types of DNA. Sir, explain turn once. Wait, I will explain. See, the length of turn in DNA is 38.4 R. No, 34 Armstrongs only. 34. 3.4 nanometers or 34 Armstrongs. That is bDNA. Wait, I will explain this. Then we will go further. bDNA stands for basic DNA, which has 10 base pairs per repeat, and it is a right-handed helical structure. In this repeat, there is 10 base pairs. That is bDNA. That I explained bDNA of Watson-Crick double helical form. Okay. Then 11 base pairs are present in aDNA. aDNA stands for alternate DNA. This alternate zigzag DNA, they are very rare. This alternate DNA has 11 base pairs, which is right-handed structure only, right-handed helical form. Then zigzag DNA is there, which is called as zDNA, that has 12 base pairs. Here, length is there now. aDNA has 11 base pairs, but that is not 3.4. Oh, you may think 34 is there, sir. 11 base pairs means 3.4 into 11, sir, like that you may ask. No. Only that bDNA has 34 Armstrongs of one repeat. aDNA has only 25 Armstrongs, even 11 base pairs are there. aDNA is there now. aDNA has 11 base pairs in one repeat. But one repeat has only 25 Armstrongs. That is not needed here. Zigzag DNA is there. Zigzag DNA has 12 base pairs. But the length of repeat is 46 Armstrongs. That length of that repeat for A, Z, C and D DNA are not needed here. Just mention this enough. Okay. Then Z DNA, zigzag DNA, which has a 12 base pairs, which is right-handed helix. cDNA is called as complementary DNA. Normally RNA is synthesized into cDNA. DNA which is synthesized from RNA is called as complementary DNA, that has 9 base pairs per repeat. And ddNA, which is called as a duplex DNA, which has only 8 base pairs per repeat. These are 5 different types of DNA. That somebody asked, explain repeat, sir. What is repeat means? This is one minor group, this is one minor group, this is a major group. Distance between two minor groups, sorry, distance between two minor groups. Distance between two minor groups is a repeat, or the length of DNA between two major groups is a repeat. That repeat has 10 base pairs, where somewhere I wrote this turn or repeat has 10 base pairs. What is right-handed or left-handed? That rotation, one strand is rotated around that now. One strand is coiled around that another strand. That coiling of one strand around another strand is right-handed rotation. Okay, Washington DC, is it clear? Ashwin Shyam, same question. What is left-handed? What is right-handed? Washington. Okay, bless you. Okay, this is about the structure and the types of DNA. Name of last DNA, sir, duplex. ddNA, which is called duplex DNA. Rekha, duplex, Rekha. Done. Then can we continue the problems on DNA structure? Sir, we need break, sir. Directly saying no, sir, no, sir.